your boy, Awesome Nobody. Awesome, awesome.
This is a journey into sound.
Awesome, awesome.
Now, here comes the music.
Awesome.
You got a beat for me?
This one's explosive.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's your boy, Awesome Nobody. Awesome, that's just part of the name. I give it to all plus the sum, then back to being awesome. Let's go! Man, today is a very special day. I'm joined in the studio by one of my favorite people, one of my favorite artists. Actually, is my favorite artist right now. Like, a lot of people don't understand the hard work that goes into making music, but this artist right here understands. He goes by the name of Kojo, Hotflow, right? He is King Kilo. He is the heart of the city from Maryland, Virginia. And, you know, this guy is a hard worker. He always puts his best foot forward. You know, he's always out there on the road. He's the definition of a grinder. And there's nobody else that when I thought of doing a show, I knew I had to call him from day one. I mean, this guy I'm talking about doing, if there's 365 days in a year, this guy's doing 365 shows. If there's a performance or music, he's constantly releasing music. He's constantly out there on social networking, marketing, grinding. See, Instagram is just not Instagram, right? It's marketing. He's out there marketing. So listen, man, I mean, I'm going to bring him on the show. We're going to call him up. We're going to talk music. And more importantly, we're going to talk about underground music. We're going to talk about pushing the music that we want to hear to the forefront. So I'm going to give my brother Kojo, King Kilo Kojo to be exact, a call, and we're gonna have this great conversation about music in 2017. So here we go. Just bear with me. Yo.
What's going on?
You already know, man. You are locked in at the Awesome Nobody podcast. What's going on?
Everything.
Man, listen. It's an honor to have you on the show, man. It's an honor.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me.
Listen, man, as much as we do this together, I'm a big fan of yours, honestly, man. And I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. And you motivate me every day, man. Every day I look on the gram or see something, man, I'm like, yo, he out there working. That's what I like to see.
Man, I appreciate it. And I do that for that reason, for those people who living and looking to be inspired, man. And we talk, and like I always tell you and let you know, man, a lot of these things that's been coming and happening for me, man, is just due to the words you put in for me, man, and motivate me and giving me places to show up to. And I'm just showing up and putting in the work, man. So thank you.
Hey, anytime, man. I mean, when people say a good dude from day one, you get what I'm saying? I honestly, that is the definition of the story that I have. When talking about who Kojo is and how I met him from day one, you've always been that guy who you could always vouch for. Like, you just had that feeling. And listen, man, anytime I will always vouch for you. And I'm just happy to see that it came through. You get what I'm saying? I'm just happy to see that the opportunities are there. You get what I'm saying? Like, that someone who has the talent can take advantage of that. That's a win for all of us. You get what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Absolutely, man, and that once again, man, that's what I do it for. Just want to put my best foot forward every single time, any opportunity I get. So, anytime you open the door, man, I'm looking to walk through, and I'm just trying, like I say, inspire the world, man, with this talent, with this music, with my whole movement.
And you definitely are doing that, man. And let's give them the journey, man. Let's give them the process, man, because I don't even think I know, honestly. So you got to go back, like, when you first got into music, from getting into now, like, how did you even get into the whole music thing?
So it started, just like, most dudes, man, being inspired by what I seen on TV. But on top of that, just in the neighborhood, bunch of cousins and different people I looked up to, street guys in the neighborhood, they was all rapping. So I told myself, like, man, they doing it. I feel like I could do it. So it started there. And then from there, it just elevated. Like, I wanted to be a basketball player. And
Okay.
at the time, Shaq was in the league. So
Uh-huh.
Shaq balling and rapping. So I'm like, oh, that's my calling right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really gassing myself up on the whole Shaquille O'Neal aspect of it. But from there, uh, just like I say, watching the people that came before me, older cats in my neighborhood, and once I watched them do it, and I told myself, like, man, yo, I need to put my best foot forward. I could do this. So from there, it just transitioned to getting into the studio, writing relentlessly. Every opportunity I got at the time, I had one instrumental, and I had like 100 raps to the nonchalant 5 o'clock in the morning beat.
Yo.
Yo, so
Yo.
I wrote to that same beat religiously, and that's what it was, man, and that's how it was started. And then from there, man, it was just a process. Taking it to school, testing your skills at the lunchroom, on the back of the school bus, uh,
Mm.
and then from there, your name get known, and now you're doing talent shows. And
Mm.
it was crazy because like at one of my school talent shows, there was a teacher who used to always say, because in his class I wasn't doing my work, I just wanted to rap, and he used to always say stuff along the line of, your music ain't gonna never get heard outside of bathroom walls. Like you
Mm.
might spend your time writing rhymes on a bathroom wall. So crazy thing, it come full circle. I end up on stage with KRS One. I'm
Mm.
opening up for the likes of Redman and Method Man, and you know, I go from him saying it wouldn't be heard outside of the bathroom walls to me performing for over 2,000 people, and being able to get that picture captured, and some of the cats that go to work at the school where this teacher still works at, was able to show him the picture. And,
Mm.
and, and my quote, I had wrote it in the caption on the status, like, Mr. Russell told me I'd never have my music heard outside of these bathroom walls, and now I got over 2,000 people listening to me right now. So I'm just blessed, man, from just staying consistent, staying persistent, and just not letting anything derail me.
That's right, man. In reality, hard work does pay off. You know, and also they say when you play with skill, good luck will happen. And
Absolutely.
that is exactly what's going on. You touched on the key things. I just want to rewind for a second. You said relentless, right? The relentless grind, the hunger for more. That's the truth. That's a work ethic right there. I had this whole philosophy when I got into the music thing, that one thing that I was going to bring was a work ethic. And the work ethic, and then hearing you say that now, I consider that the work ethic and the relentlessness being the same. From putting in the work and getting the results out. I'm talking about you put 10 hours in, you get 10 hours worth of the results out, whether it be more shows, a better rhyme, a better hook, and that's what a lot of cats aren't spending the time to get the results out, and that's right there is makes all the difference, 100%.
Absolutely, man. I look at it and say this ain't a lottery ticket. You know, um, it don't happen overnight.
Mm.
Been a lot of all nights in the studio. It's been a lot of I've done mixtapes in an entire, taking a one day and recording an entire mixtape. I've, you know, drove city to city, state to state, just to perform, and then had to be back, and work an overnight shift. So for me, it's never been one of those things where I knew it took the hard work to get put in. I lost one of my friends a few years back, and his name was George, but we called him Buck 40. So like what I started living by, like once he passed away, I say, man, like yo, I gotta be, I want to give myself something realer to attach it to. let me not let his death be in vain. Let me make sure, I'm repping for him. So I started setting my alarms on my phone for 4:40 a.m. So I told myself we called them 40. So I said I'm gonna wake up at 4:40 because I'm doing it 4:40. And so I started setting my alarms for 4:40 a.m. and using those times in that hour to whether it was right or man, a couple of my associates would hit this trail just to go run and build up cardio and just different things, man. Because it's one of those things. Like I said, it's a process, and you got to kind of get yourself geared up for it. And I don't just talk it; I live it.
Yeah.
So, what I realized is I'm not one of those dudes, man, from via social media who I don't get like a lot of fanfare and a whole bunch of likes and comments and nothing like that. But when I get cats like you and other people and other artists who, write me in my inbox or tell me, something I did or how I move or maneuvered, inspired them, man, that mean more to me than anything else.
Yeah, man. Man, that story you just told, man, that's heartfelt right there, man. That's real. And you couldn't have said it better. This is something that you live, this is a lifestyle, man. This is a culture, this is not something that we see the media pick up on somebody who just walked into it. This is something that we have a reason behind it. You know what I'm saying? This is something that motivates us. It's a passion. It's a passion that can't be captured by just a picture. You know what I'm saying? It's a passion that is only captured through actions, man. And your actions are speaking louder than words, louder than words, man. Definitely.
Thank you. I seen the Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt documentary some years back, and one of the people who they were interviewing for the documentary said a lot of people make hot music and make crafty and trendy songs, but Jay came to penetrate culture, and like that's how I'm looking at my process with this. Like it's going to be way bigger than anything that I could ever imagine. And once again, just because I'm not doing it for the fame of it, like I said, I really got people I'm trying to, support. I got people who I'm trying to uplift. And I come from a neighborhood where I seen my first murder when I was 10, and since that day it was like your innocence kind of get taken.
Yeah.
And the child inside, it was a person inside of me that like died that day as well, not just realizing one of my brother's best friends being killed, who at the time was only 16 years old, but to see this happen right in front of my face, like literally watch him bleed to death.
Yeah.
And just to sit out there and watch that, it robbed me of something. So from there, just realizing like, man, life ain't a game. Me and a couple of my homeboys that was out there at 10 years old, we started saying like, man, I hope that don't happen to us. And then, less than a year later, we see a cop gun down a kid in that neighborhood. And at the time, this kid was only 18. So we started really walking around with the thought process, seeing 2 murders.
Yeah.
12 years old, we really started telling ourselves like, oh, we're going to die at 18. Like we thought like that was it. We were not going to live past 18. So, just to be here, man, and being told that you're a statistic of, you won't live past 18. You won't live past 21. You won't live past 25. And just to, be here as a testament, like, no, you were wrong. Like, I'm going to keep on working. I'm going to keep on spreading this love. I'm going to keep on spreading this message. And, who knows where I'm going to take it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely real, man. That topic is real. Because when you look at music, music is basically pushed to the forefront of all media, marketing, definitely all different platforms they have where they try to push music out there, but then at the same time, they try to tell us that music is not a valid form of, let's say, employment, or music is not a valid form of career, and it's not true. This is an art. This is a talent, and there's nothing wrong with getting your talents out there. And I believe, and I'm sure a lot of other people do as well, that it is something that can take someone, like you said, from wherever they're from, and give them something to push to the next level. You know, get them out of situation. It's changed a lot of lives for the better, and I think it needs to be respected for that. You know, like I always hear people say, I could be out here hitting somebody over the head for this, but instead I'm just giving you these raps. I'm basically putting in word form or rhyme form what I've seen, and from that description, that's exactly what you just told me.
Absolutely. Biggie said from ashy to classy.
Word up, man. All right, let's change the tone a little bit. Let's talk about the creative process, man, because you know when you first said you was a rapper, I'm like, and just like how you saying before, a lot of people rap, but then when I heard you rap, there was a difference. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the creative process that you go through?
For me, well, a lot of times I start with the track. Whatever emotion that the track that I feel in a beat. A lot of other times, it just comes straight off what's on your heart.
Yeah,
Especially me, man.
the heart of the heart of hip hop.
That's right. Which is available now. The Heart of Hip Hop Part 2 at doitfor40.com. Once again, man, I'm still repping my homie. So doitfor40.com. Is the website where the Heart of Hip Hop 2 is available. But yeah, just I'm a firm believer in when they say you are an individual. So like as I go into the studio or start writing, I always think about like, man, it's a bunch of people going through a bunch of different situations. What'll make mine unique? Well, it's only one Kojo.
Yeah, man, because honestly, a lot of other artists don't do that, man. A lot of artists will take what I call the easier route. You get what I'm saying? They will take the easier route where they just get like, you know what I'm saying, 140 BPMs, and they just yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, that's fun because I've done it myself. Like I've had fun. Like it came to a point where I was really like music was getting real serious for me, and I was like, I need to have some fun. And but see, that's the thing. Like you do other things to keep it going, to get inspired. Other artists don't do anything but one thing. You got to be versatile. They're just not versatile enough to jump in different lanes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you can experiment a little bit. You can do different types of songs. You know, when you listen to an artist and they talk about how eclectic they are and how many different artists and genres they listen to everything. They listen to rock and roll. They listen to alternative. They listen to 80s. They listen to rap. They listen to hip hop, backpack. They listen to everything they could possibly to get influence from. And that's what I feel like they don't do. Like we heard a lot of comments from like a lot of new artists where they were saying like, oh, it's so blasphemy. I can't even really re-say it, but they said like, Biggie was overrated. Like that shit hurt right there. They said that, they didn't fuck with Tupac. It's like, damn, like you gotta listen to a lot of different stuff and a lot of different music to be inspired for just your one song, and you gotta be passionate.
Absolutely. Like it's crazy. I had to reopen this 20 years, since Biggie's passing. And I had to go back and refresh myself as far as Biggie. Because the crazy thing is, during the time where Biggie was, smoking hot and he was on his come up and all of that. See, my brother was a Tupac fan. So it was like, yo, don't nothing get played in this house but Tupac. So it was like so crazy. So honestly, I missed the Biggie wave during the time. Period. Cause like my brother was just Tupac to the core. So, and I wanted to be just like him. So anything he said went. I'm like, oh, I'm listening to Pac. That's it. So everything, Tupacalypse, All Eyes on Me. That was all they played as far as hip hop in my house for real. So when I finally gathered my own awareness of hip hop, Big had passed, and I caught the era of Mace, the Locks, with Bad Boy. So I missed the entire Biggie wave. So man, it's crazy. Like, and all through these years, I've heard songs. Of course, we all know Juicy. We all know, Big Pop. One
Yeah.
More Chance singles and all of that. But I really went back and listened to both of those albums. Life After Death and Ready to Die. Like, for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
That's all I listened to, man. And it was just like, wow. Like, it always amazed me to know that this man lost his life so early, and
Really early.
the fact that he had an impact on the world the way he did.
At 25.
And, right. I always say to myself, like, man, I'm a kid from Annapolis, Maryland, who, and I look at Big and Pac the same way at this point. It's like these guys didn't live to see their 30s,
Yeah.
but yet their influence in music and culture still remains, still stand. I mean, Biggie was from Brooklyn, New York, but yeah, I go 5 hours away, and dang, I can relate to this man singing Juicy, what he rapping about. Like, dang, this crazy. And that's the whole thing, man, when you can tell your story, but somehow it relates to somebody who you've never even met. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the sign of greatness.
Story is big. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and honest story too, man. I caught the Biggie, but I barely caught the Biggie. I believe I caught Jay-Z first, right? And I had a girl who was, for some reason, you know how you be in the kitchen talking to the girl on the kitchen phone. For some reason, she always was playing the Jay-Z song in the background, and she was like, "You're not listening to Jay-Z?" So I had to like hurry up and up my Jay-Z knowledge. And when I got I want to say the Reasonable Doubt. It wasn't at the time Reasonable Doubt first came out. It was like a little bit past. But I remember the main song that popped out was Jay-Z and Big, and that I remember, yeah. That was the one that did it for me. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like that whole back and forth that they had was crazy.
Yo, I'm like beyond. Like I'm a fan of Hove. Like I actually did I did a seasonal drought mixtape.
That's right.
His 20 years of Reasonable Doubt. So, yeah, I actually caught Hove late, and I heard the second album first. I heard it in my lifetime before I heard Reasonable Doubt. And once again, just being one of those guys who love the music, and I love when people put those stories, that content in it. So Lucky Me and She Must Have Loved Me were my joints off of that.
Yeah.
And then I heard Reasonable Doubt after. So yeah, I caught Jay on the second album, and then went back, and then from there just been a big fan.
So when you say the second, I mean the volume 1.
Yeah, they're in my lifetime.
Yeah. So I wasn't even. So I don't want to say I wasn't sold, because I was sold on the Jay-Z then, but I didn't have it, like you said, got conscious of the music. So I'm like, this is cool, I like this, but I wasn't conscious of what hip hop was at the time, because nobody had sat down to explain to me that this was hip hop. So I knew it was music, I knew there were rappers, but I didn't understand, I didn't see the future in it. Not that I didn't believe in it, because I did heavily. I just didn't understand that this was a main genre. I thought it was just music, it all together, right? And so what I did was, after I heard the verse with Jay and Biggie, I picked up on Biggie, and I was all into the Bad Boy. Just like you said, you caught the whole Bad Boy era. A lot of friends was all into the Bad Boy era. I mean, like shiny suits. Yo, do you remember when cats used to wear the shiny jeans to school?
My man, I was Puff Daddy for Halloween. Like, yo, and we had the money, so I couldn't afford the actual get up, but like I definitely have my best rendition of the More Money, More Problems red shiny suit that I could come up. No pants. I had on regular jeans.
Yeah.
my sister had a shiny red jacket, and I threw that on with like a Yankee red
Okay,
snapback.
yeah, everything matching, coordinated
And
to the
yeah,
max.
yeah, yeah. It didn't even match, but it was nighttime when we went trick or treating, so it looked like it went
It look
together.
good. It look good. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, those were real influential times, man. Like you said, pushing the culture. Like these were people who were coming up with ideas. They were innovating, right? And they were doing, and that's a lot that we don't see now. I feel like, and not even to connect them with the past. Now with the past, now it seems like a lot of people just head to fashion, right? The fashion industry, and they be like they innovating, they trend setting instead of just doing their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Puffy did his own thing, Hove did his own thing, Biggie did his own thing. You know what I'm saying? Even Russell Simmons, with the whole Fat Farm, did his own thing. They made people go to them instead of now in 2017 with these artists. They try to go to the people.
Right. Uh, and just how you say the lack of being innovative is, everybody just want to follow suit, don't want to, push the needle.
Yeah. Or push the pen. Or push the
Right.
pen. Cats act like they can't erase a rap. Like, listen, man. You don't got. It's not the one take. I know there's a lot of conversations and stories about how artists don't write, about one takes. Listen, man. If your shit is garbage, erase it. Right?
Right.
It don't hurt nobody to erase that shit.
And
Do something.
it shouldn't hurt you to erase it, like, especially if your aim is like, yo, you know who the forefathers are, the KRSs, the Canes, who laid the blueprint. So it's just like, come on, let's do it right. We
Yeah,
don't do
man.
it, we got to do it right.
You gotta do it right. Gotta represent. And you just touched on a key word, man. You said KRS-One, man. So, I mean, just tell me a little bit about how it was for you, the show you had in Maryland with KRS-One, the legend.
Man, I was unaware that he seen my performance. Um, I had the privilege of opening up for him, and I'm on stage. I do my thing, and from there, I'm just like, I was happy. The crowd, embraced me. I was getting a lot of love. So I'm backstage, and one of the people from Boogie Down Productions, his team, came up to me. I'm just like, Chris wants you on stage. I'm like, who's Chris? Like, and like, Chris wants you on stage. I can't. They say I can't tell you why. He just wants you on stage, and I'm just like, at this point, I've never met Karis one a day in my life. So I'm just like, why would he want me on stage? So, you know, they giving me, the green light. So I go and he doing his whole set, and I'm there, like, I mean, right on stage with his crew. And I mean, he's doing all the hits. The bridge is over.
Mm.
Man,
Dun, 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 dun,
he's
dun, dun, dun.
down, man. I mean, 45 minutes of straight. Oh man, he's killing it. Um, the sound of the police. I mean, he's giving you everything, and it gets to a point in the show where he says, "Yo, how many of y'all seen the opening act?" Like he stops the music and everything. And it's like, how many of y'all seen the opening act? And the crowd like, yeah, what y'all think about if I had him come out here and freestyle with me? And I'm just like, whoa,
Whoa.
he was like, but before I bring him out, and I mean, then he brought Busy B on stage, man.
The ball with the ball, the bang, boogie to the.
Yes. And I did a cipher with KRS-One and Busy B.
The legends. The legends.
Yo, they pulled me, like, literally give me a microphone. I got to perform. It was the 25-year anniversary of Self-Destruction. So they went to Self-Destruction first. And I'm actually singing the hook for KRS-One and being KRS-One hype man for Self-Destruction. And then they drop the Mob beat and say, let's go. And I get to spit a rhyme, so we freestyling and I go. And at the end of my rhyme, I'm like, I'm doing this with the freestyle king. So I start coming off the top with it, and I give him a shout out at the end of my rhyme. And man, this man bows down to me on stage in front of all of these people, and the crowd goes wild off of it. And from there, Busy B pulled me up. Shorty, you got it. Keep pushing. KRS-One told me, like, you special. So getting those type of words and hearing those type of things from people that their caliber who I've watched on DVDs and TV and, know they are like, on the Rushmore of, hip hop. It's like, yo, that meant everything to me. Definitely a blessing there, man. It was a humbling experience as well.
Yo, Busy B, man, had one of the earliest documented rap battles when he roasted Kool Moe Dee, man. No shade to Kool Moe Dee, though, because he's a legend, too. But Busy B definitely being a huge legend, man. And you was definitely there with him and KRS-One, who, I mean, from one of my earliest influences, from even Criminal Minded and with, shouting out Scholar Rock and like you said, the Self-Destruction. Those were all real records that had real meaning and purpose that made you want to be better. You get what I'm saying? Like, made you want to be conscious, made you want to be intelligent,
Absolutely. I mean, I had the pleasure of having a conversation with KRS-One, man, and I was able to tell him. Now, like I said, there was nothing played in my house but back, and but my cousin had his mom had got him a boombox and bought him 2 CDs for Christmas one year, and the 2 CDs were KRS-One, The Return of the Boom Bap, and Shaquille O'Neal. So, I mean, for me at the time, it was a no-brainer, baby. I picked the Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I knew the Shaquille O'Neal word for word. And I actually told KRS-One this story, man. And I said, but what I do remember, and the only thing I remember from that Return to the Boom Bap album, I remember how the cover looked, and I said, I remember the intro. And I said, man, on the intro, you said, we will be here forever. Forever and ever, and ever and ever. We will be here forever. And I'm looking at this man now, and I'm telling him, look at this. Here we are over 20 years later, and you wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying.
Like, Shaq, I don't know if Shaq does things, musically, but KRS-One said, we will be here forever. And look how this came full circle.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, at that time, I couldn't name one song off the album. I couldn't tell him a verse, but I remember his intro.
That's important.
Him saying, we will be here forever. And that always stuck to me. And I never heard the album, since then.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuck with me in my head. So anytime I hear the name KRS-One, I just think, oh, man, he said, we will be here forever. Forever and ever, and ever and ever. And I just was able to share that with him. And, he shook my hand and gave me this look like, man, it's almost like, hey, you gonna tell me you ain't listen to my music, but at the same time, showing me love, like it was just the honesty in it, and it was like, with all due respect to the king, man, and I expressed to him, like, once again, my hoop dreams clouded by judgment, and I picked Shaquille O'Neal over, the Return of the Boom Bap. But once again, man, that intro still remains in my brain, in my head, and because of what, him bringing me on that stage, like, that moment, etched in my heart forever.
Man, it sounds like you got the most important part, though. I mean, when you talk about music, when you talk about a career, you want it to be expanding, and for him to say that was definitely, honestly, and it also instilled something in you, and like I go back to that when I was talking about that work ethic. Just for someone to say we're going to be here forever and ever and ever, by the third time, it seems like you get what they mean by how much work they're going to put in to be here. And that's something that I think you picked up probably more than anybody at that time. And it seems like from that, you always think about that. And you seems like you just keep going so that way you can be here forever and ever and ever. And also, too, man, I mean, Shaq was no joke on the rap scene. I mean, jumping on there with the Foosh. I mean, he had what was the album that went platinum? What was it?
I'm born from my mother, but I'm God's creation. I'm outstanding, man.
Yo, one of his albums went platinum. Came out there with the Fooshnickers. He had a feature with Michael Jackson, and there was also a time when, and this is a fact, that Shaq had the only song that featured Jay-Z and Nas on it before while they was like before the beef. You get what I'm saying? Like there was no recorded songs. Yeah, it was big. Shaq was big.
Yeah, Phil's my father, man. Shaq had some joints, man.
Yeah, he had some joints, man. He had some joints. Yo, so so I want to tell my side of the story of the whole KRS One because it sort of manifested into you telling that story because it was sort of like I remember like at going back to when I first met you, like I was living in the show space. Like all I wanted to do was have shows. All I wanted to do was perform. All I wanted to do was do shows. And so my whole Instagram, when I started setting up my Instagram, I set it all up on who was doing shows or who was doing shows or who was going to shows. And one of the cats I followed, I guess, was the production company that was putting on the shows. And they were constantly posting that they were having auditions, that they were looking for people. And so the first time they posted, they were like, okay, we're looking for auditions. And they were posting pictures from the auditions like we hear, where's everybody at? And then I was like, damn, if I could, I remember saying to myself, like, damn, if I could go down there, I would go audition. And I remember they posted again, like, we're having another audition on this day. And I think I was like, damn, I can't make it. But who do I know that's in the area that 100% could make good use of that? And it was you. And that's when I tagged you in, like, yo, check them out. I've already did the back work to make sure that they were legit. And they were doing events consistently. I'm like, they were legit. Check them out. And I'm like I said earlier, like I'm happy that you were able to go and represent because honestly, and you got to tell the story when you called me and told me because if somebody else had went, they wouldn't have had the full advantage that you had, and it wasn't a advantage. It was the skill that you brought to the audition that blew them away. You get what I'm saying? And 100%, you were the perfect person for the job.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. A bunch of cats in there auditioning. And even more crazier, it really showed where your heart was at as an artist because the audition was actually being held in a strip club. so
a lot of distractions.
Yeah, there's looking around. There's the guys who want to look cool for all of their friends. Mind you, I showed up to this audition solo.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people came with their entourage, their crew. A bunch of girls came with a bunch of other females. To toss their singles. To really make it look big.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying in my mind is it's KRS-One. Like, y'all do understand that, like, that ain't gonna fly. Like, in this, like, I see if, no disrespect, but if we was trying to open up for a Nelly, a Future, the Turn Up guys, the Migos, something like that, like, maybe. But, like, this, so, it was one of those things, like, man, I'm in a strip club. I got all of these hip-hop records I'm using. Like, I'm going to just stick to my gun, and I'm going to do what I love and spit it from my heart. And, man, it won everybody over. Even the people who were auditioning was like, oh, you deserved it. And it's a crazy backstory behind even that because they actually selected 7 people. I was one of 7 people that was going to open up for KRS-One.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was they were so blown away by my performance. The other 6 people who were selected to perform, they end up taking away their performance slots and letting all of them just spit a verse. In like a cipher because they was just like, it's not going to match up to what this kid is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, once again, humbling situation. I got the call maybe 1:00 in the morning, and I was just like, man, look, everybody did a great job. we appreciate everybody coming out, but you're the only one getting the set now. The other people we've picked, we're gonna let them come out and do a verse. And once again, it was just one of those moments where, like, sticking to your gun, staying true to you, and not trying to fit in or conform to what everybody else was doing, how it works. I've heard a bunch of people say it, but I love when Joe Budden say, "Why fit in when you're a standout?" And it was just like, man, I'm so glad at that point, I chose not to fit in and switch the songs I'm doing and saying, oh, it's at a strip club. Let me do my club song. Let me just kick what I kick. And man, the blessings came down.
No, that's the right mentality. If you have a gift that the world needs to hear, you get what I'm saying? When they say a gift, it doesn't say the gift is going to be open here. You get what I'm saying? Like, just to put it in that format, they just say you have a gift that the world has to hear. It could be anywhere. The message could be heard anywhere. The person that receives the message, the person that receives the gift could be anyone. You have to give it where it's received at, which could be anywhere. And you're right. When you bring a certain level of honesty and passion to it, it comes off as genuine. So those other cats that you described, you know what I'm saying, it's a facade. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't genuine. It wasn't a lifestyle. It was just a here and now. We got two hooks. We got one bar that's hot, and everybody's gravitating to that. But when you actually are digging deeper, when you go below the surface, you find something. You either hit concrete or you can find gold. And I'm just happy that for them at that audition, at that interview, that they were able to see below the surface and they were able to find gold within you, man, because I know you got a lot of it down there, man.
And yeah, I'm glad they took the time. Once again, my performances, always look at it and say it's a build up. We ain't gonna straight turn up and party and dance right off the rip. Not necessarily. One of my slogans, oh, have you ever been to a Kojo show?
Yeah, that was a great slogan, by the way, too.
Thank you, man. And always put that question mark at the end of it. To I ain't just saying it now. Ask yourself, have you ever been? Last year, which when the KRS One show happened, that was my sixth. That was my sixth time performing that year. Seventh. That was my seventh time performing that year, which ended up turning into 111 shows last year. So right now, man, I'm just right back at it. Anywhere there's a stage and a mic, I'm making my business to be there. When if the time permits and I can make myself available, and so I've been reaching out to a lot of different promoters, but like I said, for me, that's just all a part of the grind. Like, for me, it's no lottery ticket. It's no, one-shot deal. It's like, nah, like, I'm going to go out here and grind. I'm pounding the pavement. I'm from that era, man, CDs out the back of the trunk, like, and just hustling like I'm 12 people.
Yeah.
I just put that in my mind. I say, man, I got to be all 12 of my people. I got to be, my mouthpiece, pause. I got to be my, business person. I got to, be my own street team. All sides of the promotion just got to be me, and still get on stage and do that thing and be the driver, if need be, to these different places and venues. So, yeah, my goal, man, that's the plan. We're going to just keep on working, put that best foot forward, and just and grind like no other.
Yeah, man. And then also, so then we connected also on a couple events in Jersey. You definitely came through and showed love at my events, which was the Hype, and then the Hype Part 2, the Hype continues, man. And it was those were really interesting events to me because I was doing so much. Like you said, being 12 people at once, I was definitely 12 people at once. And
Yes, I seen you.
I was taking the money at the door. I was doing the hosting. I was introducing the artist. I was ad-libbing in between the slow times. I was doing stuff at the bar. I was smoking hookah. I was like, all over the place. Yeah, and but I remember in the midst of me running around, because I want to explain it like that. So in the midst of me doing these 12 acts, I remember I had introduced you on stage. You came up there, and I'm running around trying to get shit straight. And like you did a set with your mans that made me stop in my tracks, right? And I had to stop and like take it in for a second, like, hold on, what is going on right now? Where you had your homie on stage and y'all was breaking it down like the time. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
That's my bro E. That's one of those things that, you know, incorporated in the show, where, you know, we cut the beat out and just wanting to show the fast flow. You know, I'm one of those people, once again, man, who just embodies this entire hip hop movement, the culture of it. So, where it's about lyrics, and I still want to show rhythm and cadences and just different things. I don't want to just go up there and just try to get the crowd hype and hey, and all of that, man. I really want to leave you with the impression of like, man, they really put on a show. And I don't care if we in front of 1 or 1 million people, you're going to get the same show that the million people got. You know, I don't care if it's one person in the audience. This may be your first or your last time seeing me, and I just want to make sure I leave that impression that, man, he's for real. He means this. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that was 100% what I got from that. And listen, like, I just took a second and soaked it all in, and I was like, yo, that shit was amazing. And I was like, and that gave me, you know how you get like a jolt of energy? That shit gave me a jolt of energy to get back to these whole planning this event duties and shit like that. I was like, damn, I felt like it was all worth it just for you to get that out. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I've been happy to listen. I've always been happy to like be a part of, always been happy to, like, you know what I'm saying, just follow you, man, and that's amazing. Also, you got a lot of other stuff coming up too, man. You got a lot of big stuff coming up. You got an interview coming up, right? And is it GI Radio that you got coming up?
Yeah, Great Entertainment Radio, company based out of Atlanta. Got an interview with them this weekend on Sunday. They just, man, these guys and ladies, they got like a whole modeling magazines, clothing line, party promoters. They do a lot in the Atlanta area, from Atlanta to Connecticut. They set up shop in all these places, North Carolina. So, but they're actually originally from Maryland. And these guys, man, another group of people just, and watch me grind and watch me put this work in, and any platform that they had, they always, you know, reach out, show love, and incorporate me, and, you know, just trying to build my fan base and build my buzz. So yeah, I got that going on. I'm actually doing 4 shows in 2 days.
Wow.
In Pittsburgh, and it's looking like it's about to be another show added. So this could be 5 shows in 2 days.
When is this?
This is next weekend, man. March 25th and 26th. But it's looking like they're trying to add another show on. So if that happens, it's gonna be 5 shows in 2 days. But there's a Hollywood glam party that starts at midnight.
Out there in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, right. So all 5 of these shows, well, the 4 that's confirmed are all in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a great city, man. Shout out to Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Berg. It's been like almost like a second home to me. Being able to go there, a lot of the promoters, a lot of the artists been rocking with me. So they've been showing me a lot of love. And, you know, I hop on that stage and give my heart, man, and they give me their love. So I'm appreciative.
Got to, man. So, you know, I talk about Instagram, you know, and I see you post on Instagram a lot, #Benny. I just wanted to get into like sort of the who that is to you and sort of behind that because I seen he had the big picture with Jay-Z.
Yeah. So yeah, Benny uh March 12th actually made the marked the third year that he was killed on the 12th. But he was one of the guys. He was killed March 12th about 3 years ago. But he was one of the guys who, was the reason behind me rapping. Like I said, I grew up in a small city of Annapolis in this neighborhood called Robinwood, and he was one of the street guys in the neighborhood. And back in 98, 99, the police came and did a big sweep, the feds. He was one of the people that they took. Um, Interesting thing was around the same time, Emery, which is Jay-Z's right hand guy,
Yeah.
was a part of, they was in the same, circle. So, they were locked together.
Emery Jones.
Yes, Emery Jones. So, man, he would tell me all the time, like, man, locked up with, now mind you, I'm a young boy at this time when he go away, but like all of the big homies in the neighborhood know Lil Kojo rap. So he would, always send word through some of the big homies who were out, just like, man, keep working. Then he in here, locked up, but he talking to some people for you. And at the time, I never knew who. He just would, they just kept saying, man, keep on working, keep on working. So all of these years, so he finally came home. He did 10 years. Then he did. So when he came home, when he got killed, he had only been home maybe a year and a half. But in this time, yeah, we had established a relationship. At this, I went away when he went away. I was a kid. He came home. I'm a grown man. So, we having conversations, and he's saying, yo, I'm gonna set these power plays up, and then he finally told me like who he was gonna set some things in motion with, and I'm like, word? He like, yeah, like that's my guy,
Emery Jones.
So right, so when he got killed, before he was even able to make the connection, I had posted a picture that me and him had took on Instagram, and I tagged Emery, basically letting him know that, he had passed. Now, I didn't know Emery at the time at all. Like, I had never met him, never had a conversation or nothing. He messaged me back immediately. Like, what? As far as Benny passing, he was like, man, that was my brother, man. And immediately just like anything his family need, let me know, like, dang, like, yo, he really did know him. It wasn't even just talk, you know what I'm saying? So, a few months later, my producer, That Boy Good, he's been doing some work with Carter Wisdom Management, which is Jay-Z's nephew management company. And my producers actually signed Carter Wisdom Management. So a lot of times when they're in the area, we get access, get to go to the events and all that. So Emery and Jay-Z's nephew Rel, they had a Duce party in Baltimore, exclusive, invite only type of move, and we were able to go, and I got to meet Emery, face to face for the first time, and let him know who I was, and it was all love immediately. But once again, just that foot in the door, and Benny, man, he's like.
He's still here with us. He's still here.
Yeah, he's my angel on my right side, man. Just anytime I'm feeling discouraged or feeling down, it's like, yo, I got to keep pushing, because I know, like, if I didn't, like, he'd be the first one letting me know, like, yo, you ain't working hard. Like, what you stopping for? You repping for me. It's a lot of visions and dreams and thoughts I never got a chance to live out. So, man, I'm gonna hold it down in his memory for sure.
Man, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, that's a great story. That's a movie right there, man, and that's beautiful at the same time. And that's definitely touching, man. Because and just shout out your Instagram real quick so everybody can know to go check it out, man, with the photos, because that's the first thing I seen. I'm like, oh, that's young Hov right there with before the button up. Before he was 30 plus, give him a button up. He had the Bulls jersey on, which was iconic.
Right. Yeah, that was I believe that was the Hard Knock Life tour.
Yeah.
I want to say, I know it was like it was right before my man Benny got snatched up, and before everything went down. So it was like 98, 99, around the time when that all happened. But yeah, man, my Instagram is at KingKiloKojo. Once again, that's King Kilo Kojo. KingKiloKojo at King Kilo Kojo. That's Snapchat, that's Instagram, that's Twitter.
All right. Well, so we talked about KRS-One, right? We talked about the God MC. We talked about Reddit. You doing the Reddit Meth show.
Right.
We just tied it in with the whole Rock Nation, Emery, and Rail Carter. And I also want to touch on the Future aspect of it. And Future, what I mean, the musician, the artist from Atlanta.
Yeah. That's once again, just, man, a blessing to be like around some of the people I've been around. One of my best friends, he's actually signed the Freeman's label. He Freeman's Test, but he's from Baltimore, and me and him been doing work together for years, man. And that's the opportunity. He actually had a single with Future did the hook on. And they actually shot a video for it and everything. So he gave me the card, like, bro, like, we is about to take off. Everything official. He's also my daughter's godfather. Freeman's Test is. So, like, I mean, we connected, and he hit me up. He said, man, look, I just got this new track. It's crazy. Future blazed the hook. Man, we going down to Atlanta. So we packed up. We all went down, shot the video, got to meet Future, and at the time he was already aware. Like, I tried to introduce myself. He like, I know who you is. That's just because, once again, having like good people, man. My guy, made it his business. When they shot the Tony Montana video, I had a new video called Footsteps I had just did, and when they actually shot that video. I know it was outside the country. I can't remember where they shot it at, but wherever they shot it at, I think it was Dominican Republic. The Tony Montana video.
Oh, the Tony Montana, yeah. I think so.
So my guy had been playing the video for everybody, like, y'all need to see my main new joint, whatever. So, it just was built off of that, no real personal ties, anything like that to Future outside of, like, just knowing, the artist that he signed. Me and him had done a bunch of work together, but he always tell me, when anytime I'm doing an interview or anytime I'm doing a show out of state or whatever, he like, yo, you part of the team. You tell them you free bands go. I said, no, I don't want to use that pass, man. I just keep on rocking this way, man. But once again, man, just from the time I did spend around Future, because I actually opened up at my boy Tess signing party when Future came to Baltimore, did the official signing in front of the whole city. So I ain't been able to be around him a couple times, man. And really, really good dude, man. Good soul, good spirit, and just amazing talent, man.
Yeah, just my interactions with you really made me more interested in Future. I was already interested in him. I like Tony Montana. I like some of his early stuff, but then when the way you described him, and you got to tell him in your own words how you was telling me how he had bars. I don't even remember we was talking about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I listened to, like, so there was a conversation at the studio, and just like, yo, the rap side is, because he came up with the Dungeon family.
Yeah,
so it's just like he ain't, new to rhyming, like, it's what he does. It's he grew up on it, but it was one of those situations where the breakdown to me was, you gonna be a rapper, you gonna be a businessman, or you gonna be an entertainer? And I'm like, what you mean? And it's just like, well, because at the time there was J. Cole and there was Kendrick, both, coming. And it was looked at as the cosigns for Kendrick was Dr. Dre, J. Cole had Hove, and Rocco would have been Future's cosign. So it's just like, if J. Cole or Kendrick fail, they probably would have got another shot having Jay and Dre. But where he had necessarily got that other shot by Rocco not being as big of a cosign. So it was just like one of those things, breaking it down where, like, okay, we're going to do this music and make it so entertaining that the businessmen and going to have to come to us. And like, just watching how that all played out. Like, I mean, he's worked with everybody in the game, like your favorite rapper to, the R&B chick. Like, Future's got records with all of them. But I just thought that was a smart strategy to, approach it like that. And not feel compromised. Just to know, like, yo, if I want to rap, I can rap. Like, but I'm here to stay. So it's just like, the claim and the stake that I'm putting into this game is gonna be like, the input I'm putting in gonna be something fresh. I'm gonna renew it, and a lot of people might get caught up in the way it sounds melodic and it sounds, but like Future rarely be saying some shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I once you told me that, I started listening to Future a lot, and also too, just as you said that, Future started releasing more music, and huge from him with Drake to not even to the most recent, the Hendrix. So I'm in the car, I'm like, let me put on this Hendrix, and like, yo, Solo, Mask Off, like all these songs, I'm like, yo, listen, man, this is some good stuff, man. So I definitely was more on the Future because of your introduction and explaining to me more about him.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And
Super.
and so, and then also, we you had the show in New York. You did the Faces in the Crowd show in New York. You came up and you blazed the stage there. And how, just coming from another state and coming to New York and performing at legendary SOBs, how does that feel, man? Like, just in your words, like, how does that feel coming from another state, knowing you about to perform at the one of the most oldest historic venues in New York City?
Man, right now, that's still one of the things that it hasn't even sunk all the way in yet. Only because it's like, it's so legendary, and I've gotten talked to so much about it. I got so many friends and family that like live in the area or from there, so like, they ask me like every week or every time I talk to them, have you digested it yet? I go back and look at the footage all the time, man.
Amazing footage, though. Amazing footage, by the way.
I hear a lot of people's interviews, a lot of cats, whether it was Kendrick, Chance, different ones who all and performed the SOBs, and just to know, like, man, I'm a part of that list now.
Yeah, it's a proving ground. You gotta go through SOBs if you want to be taken serious. If you want to take yourself serious, you gotta go through SOBs.
Yo, it's crazy. And that same exact event, same exact promoters, the people who put that on, man, just to see them starting to piece by piece release footage of different cats who and came through there. I mean, Designer was at the same Faces in the Crowd maybe 3 months before I was there. You know what I'm saying? And like, he skyrocketed now. So it's just like, man, like, when you get the opportunity to rub shoulders and be in some of the same places as, the people who people are considering the who's who now, and it's just like, man, this is crazy. I actually had a couple cats in the building that night who watched me put this music down and do this music thing for a minute. I was taking trips to New York when I was like 16 years old, getting in the studio with Buddha Monk, who is part of had part of one of those chambers in Wu-Tang, but him and ODB were like, tight, tight, tight. And I actually had the pleasure, one of those things, man. I opened up for ODB. His first show when he got released from jail around the time they was doing a documentary on VH1, and he ended up signing the Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like that. When I was able to invite some of the people who I knew from New York, like, yo, I'm gonna be performing at SOBs, and it's just like, man, this your first time performing at a spot like of this magnitude since you came out and did the Old Dirty thing. Now, mind you, I'm like, once again, I had to be like 17 at that time when I did that opening up for ODB, and it was just like, yo, this is so crazy. Like, just these opportunities have been, placed upon me like throughout my life, even with all the hardships and ups and downs. But music has always been an outlet, has always been a place where I was able to, express. And then the fact that I've always got a chance to do it in front of these large crowds, man, it's really, really humbling, man. But and blessing at the same time.
Definitely, man. That was I was happy to be there to be able to witness that, and that's why I said like the footage was amazing. And there's a certain energy that like comes off the stage, and it's so a lot of people who aren't familiar with how that show goes, it's basically like 10 or 11 people that go on stage at different times, and some are better than others. Some are a lot better than others. So some are memorable and some are not. And Kojo was definitely a memorable performer on that stage. And I like to say left a dent on that stage, because if you watch the footage, right, you were doing the song and you were jumping up and down and stomping as you were saying it, and I felt the hit when you were jumping, and I'm like, damn, he left that stage, didn't it? So I would like to say you forever left your mark on that stage, and that's the definition of leaving your mark on that stage, man.
Oh, that's dope, man. Torre, the host, man. Shout out to Torre. He was just like, dang. Yeah, you did that.
Yo, you can feel it. I swear to you, like no lie, like you could feel your performance, and the energy and the passion and that last stomp that you gave it caved the whole stage, and it was powerful, man. Like, yo, that it was really, really powerful, and everybody knew it in there. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing to witness, man. I'm glad that they were able to capture that in footage. So that's why I tell everybody to go check out the footage that he got on his Instagram. Also, it's on YouTube, I believe. So either Faces in the Crowd or at Kilo Kojo on Instagram. Yeah. So there's also a couple of things I want to talk about. So we talked about KRS. We talked about you performing at the Red and Mev show. We talked about Emery. We talked about Rel Carter. We talked about Rock Nation. We talked about Future, Free Bands. We talked about ODB and the Wu Chambers, right? And so one of the other artists I want to talk about that had a big impact on you was Lupe, man. Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah. The Cool album, man, was the Cool album. Certain things about that project, man. I hate going into like the fact that like these intros be touching like certain aspects, only because it's like, man, it always, how they say, through hardships and through pain, a lot of people have different vices. Mine just happened to be music, man. So with that Lupe, once again, it was the intro. Like, but I actually know that album on the Cool, but that intro, man, he said there was a singer on the beginning, and they were saying, if I could build a ladder that tall to come up and see you, I would, because I'm down here and I miss you. That resonated with me, man, because around that time, it was just people I was losing left and right. And I had just lost my aunt. And, when I sat back and I think about, like, just life, last year, I never thought I was going to get the opportunity to see Lupe perform live or anything. So when that opportunity came and presented itself and came out to Atlantic City and I got to witness him perform, all of these emotions and feelings came back because one of his songs, he was telling a story. Hip Hop Saved My Life. And he was telling this story, and it resonated so hard with me because it wasn't he was telling the story of his life, he was telling the story of somebody else.
Yeah.
It resonated with me because I so can relate to the story. Um, he ended the verse with, "Man, it feel good when it happens like that. 2 days from going back to selling crack." And I listened to that because once again, man, growing up in the neighborhood, single mom, there was times I took risks, to enhance the cash flow. And, I ran into my share of legal troubles, um, just due to the fact of feeling like, I wanted more, I needed more. Um, Man, my mom shouldn't have worked this hard and, not get nothing back. Dang, I want to help my sister, I want to help my brother, I just want to help everybody. So when I heard Lupe perform "Hip Hop Saved My Life" live, man, like it was such a come to God moment for me because it's one thing I don't know how people feel when you listen to a CD or listen to something in your car, but then once you see the person perform it live, you get to see the facial expressions, the energy. You get to sit around 100 to 200 other people who may be feeling these same emotions you feeling and having these same thoughts you feeling. So the vibrations of it. So being able to, before he went on stage, we got to go back there and just to shake his hand, man, was monumental to me, and be able to get that picture with him and um, and even tell him, really quickly about how I felt about their intro to the Cool. Um, that was a plus for me, like beyond words can even really describe. Just because the music, once again, he don't get as much commercialized success, commercialized love or support as a lot of these other cats who aren't even saying anything that has to do with a message or a story or the truth. Um, so people like that, I have to make it my business to big up because once again, you represent the culture for real.
Yeah, man, 100%, man. Lupe, also a big influence on my life as well, man. From, like you said, the storytelling. He from the beginning, he's always had that storytelling. He's always had, from Kick Push, fast forward to Hip Hop Saved My Life. I mean, he's always had that storytelling ability that can relate, third person, if you will, about someone else. And that Hip Hop Saved My Life was, you're right, like it was the story that a lot of people lived, and a lot of people, could connect to, even if they didn't live it. And yeah, man, I mean, so we just the background on that story, man, because it meant a lot for me. So my connect, and who will forever remain nameless, basically put that show together for me. Like we had a long talk and about how important it was and how genius Lupe was, and it ended up being done because of the conversation that we had. And Lupe came to Atlantic City just for that, and it was huge. And not only was it huge, but it was set up for me to meet them. And I basically had the opportunity to invite somebody, man, and always, man, I always bring your name up. And if there was anybody who I could have thought of, I definitely thought of you, man. And I definitely. Now go ahead.
No, I was saying that. Thank you for that because, once again, you had no idea. I never, at that time we never had a discussion on, what Lupe meant to me or my thought process or my past or anything like that. So it just shows you how God works, because like that's one of the proudest moments of my life. Like, um, Lupe's not super popular in, like I say, the neighborhood I grew up in. It ain't like, oh man, he's everybody's favorite rep, but like he touched my spirit with, those stories. And once again, like I said, I never thought I was gonna have the opportunity to see Lupe live. So, for that to be set up like that, and as much as I embrace, those stories and the things he does musically, man, that guy is a genius for real.
For real, man. Nah, me and you both, man. I mean, I never thought I was gonna be able to meet him in person and let alone have a picture from it, and that's what it turned into, man. And so was able to. You came through. We were able to meet him, but the whole situation was set up differently. Like, we was talking to you about opening up for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we was really, really trying to, like, I want you to know, like, we was really, really, really trying to push for this to happen. Like, we was really, really, really trying to push for this to happen, man. Like, just off the strength, man. Like, we really felt like that was the direction that we needed to go. And we was making it known that that's the direction that he needed to go as well. You know what I'm saying? As far as his management, not directly Lupe. But it wasn't able to happen as far as have you open out, but I'm very happy to hear your story and how you connected on just meeting him, man. So that means a lot to me, man. I'm glad that you enjoy meeting him, man.
Yes, sir.
But this music thing, man, it's been a part of each of our lives. For the fans that out there that listening that don't know, I do music as well, and definitely. And one thing that a lot of artists don't get is the awards part, right? And I wanted to talk a little bit about your journey on some of the accolades you've gotten from music. You know what I'm saying? So as far as like the hip hop awards.
Well, in my city, man, they was doing these events, the Annapolis Hip Hop Awards, and the very first year that they held this event, I ended up getting like mixtape of the year, People's Choice. It was like best performer. It was like 5 different awards that I won, but my mom's got them like in her crib, like,
oh, that's
like,
what's up.
Like the Grammys. So she keep them up in her tiny head, right next to like the basketball and football trophies or whatever. So those are near and dear to her. She not letting them, like, the moment or she like, yeah, I need those. I also did this contest in Pittsburgh where it was just like a showcase, but I didn't realize that they had the guy Tony G from G Unit in the building, and he ended up selecting me as the winner for this event.
Damn.
And I won a studio package, photo shoot, and some little custom headphones from this new company that they were starting out with. So that was dope. Also won like this $500 like prize pack. They did a Frenchie from the Brick Squad.
Yeah.
Event down here in Maryland, and another contest that I won, and presented me with like the cash and a little certificate and all of that. So all of these things, man, are just like small tokens of like, yo, that's of a gift, of the gift that I'm just giving out. But for me, always the biggest reward, or award I should say, is getting off that stage, and hearing the fans and the people in the audience say, man, I can relate. I was in Ohio, and at this time last year I had a show. I opened up for Cassidy in Ohio. Matter of fact, it was April 1st of last year, and young white girl by the name of Megan. I'll never forget, because in my song I speak about this girl named Megan, and I spoke about it from the standpoint of, I changed the name of the girl because it was like a real story. So,
Yeah.
one of those things I was, change the name, the protect the innocent. But I was telling this story that I was Megan in my record, and this girl Megan, mom had passed away, but she had went to live with her uncle, and her uncle had been molesting her. So, me performing that, and once I got off stage, there was a girl named Megan in the crowd who, once again, she lives in Ohio. I've never met her before. I wasn't even thinking about her or talking about her. I was talking about a girl from around my way. But she came up, eyes full of tears, and I used to always wonder, like, back watching like shows and different things, like, why people cry when they see, artists or famous people, whatever. So this is my first encounter, and this girl came up to me, she straight hugged me and wouldn't let me go. And in my ear she said, "My name's Megan, and I was being raped from the time I was 8 all the way up until I was 12." And I'm like, whoa, and then she just walked away. And I'm just like, man, like, I didn't know. Like, I think walking into that, if I had known prior to going on stage, like, man, you're going to not offend, but this is going to really touch somebody. That I don't know, I might would have skipped that line because, I'm doing it to bring awareness, but not necessarily to bring an emotion out for someone to cry. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the way I did it, and the way it was received, like, that was like one of the biggest things to me, because it's just like, it gave her like comfort, I guess, just to know I ain't the only one. And I don't know how many people she's ever told that story
yeah.
to, but the fact that I'm a complete stranger who she didn't know at all, and she felt comfortable enough after me bearing my truth and my soul, and people I know, experiences in my music, she felt connected enough, like she could have that to say that to me. So that was big for me, man.
Yeah, man, that's a real story, man. That's amazing. That's touching, man. I mean, and so for those who have not been to a Kojo show, you do the segment at the end where you cut the music off and you sort of speak to them, and I like to use the word speak to them because, like, you really project your vocals over a large audience, and you give them that passion, you give them that emotion as far as the story you're telling. You tell a story. I won't talk about what the story is about, but they need to listen to it, and you tell them a story, and you go through different stages and phases, but it's basically related to the story that he just told. And
Right.
I've witnessed this in person, and I remember, like, you know how, like, when you see something where you're like not thoughtless but motionless, and you're really focusing on what either is in front of you or what someone's saying. That's the same emotion you get from when you do that on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know where you got that from, but that is pure genius, and that is amazing.
The craziest thing is, like, it's just been added on to, over the years. I actually, those lyrics were wrote, and I mean, I actually said, when I'm telling the story, and it just shows, man, like, you can't. It don't matter how much time has passed. Certain levels of things connect, because when I start this story, it starts December 13th, 2009.
Yeah.
So I'm, we're 8 years. It's been 8 years since those lyrics were came up with, and I've never. A lot of people ask about that song, but the crazy thing is I've never recorded that song. Like, it's only that I only do it at shows. I had these stories in my mind, that I wrote down back then. Really just as thoughts of all of these things that was happening, and I combined it all into one piece. But I've never recorded it as a song. I just always used it as a performance, because I tell myself, man, 9 times out of 10 when you're going out a lot of times people going out to the club, and a lot of these places I'm performing at are clubs, lounges, different things. So people going out there have a good time. And once again, I want to have a good time. I want to party. I want to, just engage with people. But I just feel like I'd be doing everybody a disservice if I sit there and act like the world is all sunshine and rainbows and, all cool. So I just feel like, I got to give you that real.
Yeah.
And that's why when I do I end my sets, I normally end it with the story to tell about James, Megan, and Tamika. And then, once I share these stories of these three people whose names I changed just for to protect them, I really push the pin as far as getting vulnerable, and I ask, can I tell my own story? And there's no names changed in that. It's more like, no, this is mine. I'm stripping it bare. So the crazy thing is, I added a lot to it since I started doing it back in 2009, but I really take it, and I don't know if anybody else has ever looked at it like this, and I think now that I say this, any of the listeners, anybody may go back and like, oh, that's crazy, but I look at that as like me stripping myself naked and bare my whole soul and truth with that performance of Story to Tell. And I really got it from Jay-Z, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how I interpret the Fade to Black.
Fade to Black, okay.
The last song he does as a performance is December 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, he comes out and he has the Nets hat on, the Nets jersey, shining, the watch, the whole nine. And I watched the movie so many times, and I never understood, like, why would he come out to do this one song, but with the jersey, the hat on. But if you notice, after the first verse, he throws the hat. After the second verse, he takes off the jersey. Now,
wow.
in the fourth song, he was just talking about, he felt worthless because his shirts wasn't matching his gear. But now, now I'm making the money and, I got the look. But by the time he got to that third verse, he's just showing that my mom on the hook talking about me, and all I got on is a plain T-shirt. I came out here with the jersey matching the head, on my fly shit, but no, I'm just gonna bear my truth, and that's how I kind of look at it when I do Story to Tell. It's like, man, I'm tearing away layers. Like, I want y'all to see me at the core of what this is to me, and that's one of the main reasons I take, if you notice, I do that without the microphone, because I don't even want my voice to project through a mic. And if you're too far back or if it's too many people, then it just wasn't meant for you to hear it, because this is for the people who are really here to engage and vibe with me.
And
so
you know what else that does too? It makes people who are in the back come closer.
Yeah.
They're getting real close. Like when we did, and me, you got a history of performing. We did the Dear Summer Festival in Brooklyn, and when you went into that, they got closer because they was already a little bit close, but they it was two parts. It was the inside, it was the outside, big venue, and when you started doing it, they got close. They got real close.
No, I remember, and even the tone level of everybody in there kind of quieted just a little more.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's going on there?
Yeah, something different is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. And man, this has been amazing, man. I mean, from the beginning to the end, you have done a great job of detailing the feeling, the emotion that you have when it comes to this thing called music. And if no one has ever told you, man, you have been doing a great job of representing this thing called music, man. And I look forward to hearing to what you have coming forward. And I also look forward to hearing what you've done in the past again and again and again, man.
Please, everybody, check out the Heart of Hip Hop 2. man, I got a couple of really dope hip hop records my producer created, man. But I got this joint called the House of Hearts, man. On this project, and anybody who ever felt like story to tell, who's seen my performance, man, like this is one of the uh, 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 joints. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, this is the realest song I ever wrote." This is that, but no, man, I really tapped into a place and a space with this one. I mean, the whole project in general, but this record, House of Hearts, my producer sampled that that movie, Five Heartbeats.
Five Heartbeats, yeah.
In the house tonight. Oh man, and I mean, I really just went for it. Once again, just uh, we can all jam and jazz over tracks and have that fun. But like, man, I really like took it to that place, man. This my regrets, like what Jay did on Regrets, Reasonable Doubt, man. I went into my regrets and just bad it all. So yeah, man, anybody out there listening, please check out the Heart of Hip Hop 2 at doitfor40.com. Once again, www.doitfor40.com, or you could just type in King Kilo Kojo into SoundCloud, and that's what it is.
Man, listen, man, I appreciate you making the time. I appreciate you talking to me for this hour and a half that we had. It's always a good conversation, man, and we definitely got to connect, and we definitely got to do something in person and get a live video. This is the Awesome Nobody podcast, and I'm on the phone with none other than the living legend, Kojo, King Kilo Kojo.
I appreciate you, brother, for real. Thank you, man.
That I go when I'm feeling low. There's a song, there's a song, there's a song.
Yeah, this is my sanctuary. All this hatred and turmoil swirling around us, but this is always right. Struggle. Survive. Victory and defeat. Set the game, Doc.
I started from the bottom, now I'm here. Before I go any further, let me just make this clear. My mom was a single mother of three. Her youngest baby was me. She told me when I was 3 I could be what I wanna be. I've been making these niggas mad when I spaz, I keep it a G. I've been rapping free my whole life, but now I'm charging the fee. I go off with these lyrics like that white boy from the D. I ain't coke, I am dope, I ain't an ounce, I'm a key. That's 36. With these words, I could make a birdie flip. Tupac in above the rim, I'm really on that birdie shit. You ain't never heard me spit, I'm shooting on some Larry shit. Larry Bird, Larry Hoover, Larry Davis. As you can see, it ain't only Michael that's famous. But I salute Jackson, Jordan, and Tyson. It's so enticing, words come out of the head and I write them. Niggas reciting and biting them for living the shit. That's why the people hear the truth in all these lyrics I spit. Shit, hold up, they just found some spots on my mama lungs. You understand what that's doing to my mama's son? And in my city, I still remain to be number one. Take them to churches with the old folks been telling me. But I'm from the dirt, I still got a lot of hell in me. Trying to be a better me, clowns won't let me be. They wanna see that other side, fuck it, I'ma let them see. Won't cost them a penny either, they gon' get that work for free. When it come to drama, I'm a problem, ain't no solving me. Everybody hard now, claiming they your boss now. Say they living large when they really looking lost. Fuck boss, let's be honest, no. Let's really talk some true shit. I ain't talking about nothing you made up for the booth, bitch. I am tired of hearing all of that lying in your music. Everybody teaches, man, ain't nobody students. But I aim to be the student of the game. I was out there in the trenches when niggas was getting slain. Cooking cane, getting brain was an everyday thing around my way. Who said that crime don't pay? Mothers so caught are losing sons, so they pray for the sons and they daughters just to get their lives in order. Streets fucked up, since when was it cool to be an informant? I swear I'm about to be around the fucking world touring. Why these motherfuckers still in the hood? Everybody throwing dirt on my name, cause they don't know how far I ain't came. You should know me, nigga, cause I'm the definition of a survivor. My work ethic keep my haters inspired. You should know me, nigga. Kojo's my name, so please go ahead and tell the world about me. Tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your girl about me. Tell your mom and dad to tell their friends and tell their family that I'm the best. I'm a threat and ain't no getting at me. My mind's a 9 full of rhymes and I'm trigger happy. In 99 was on the grind and had the biggest bag. And now I shine ball for ball, line for line. Niggas making up lies, trying to create my demise. But I tell the truth and they feelings get hurt. I got too much drive to even go in reverse. So much success come in my way, why would I even prefer to entertaining bullshit? They want to discredit my work. That's cool. Tell them fools to try to put in my work that I did over the years. All the blood, sweat and tears, all the trips out of state, all the music I done did. Opened up for ODB when he first came home from his bed. What you know about being hated simply cause niggas don't wanna see you make it, rather see you broken, naked balls. Naked's a metaphor, I ain't mean it literally, but where I'm about to go, I wish my grandma was here to see. Hey yo, Reese, at least she watching from above, and this passion for this music's running deep up in my blood. It's my pain, my hurt, my thoughts, my work, my speech, my sermon. Amen, church.